Oh, also, I remembered who Jeparona is. He's Drogon. That's
No
Drogon.
way.
Yeah, that's Drogon.
Oh, what? How'd he go from Drogon to Jeparona?
Well, I think he kind of always switched between those two names.
Yeah, Drogon's been around a long time.
Oh yeah, he's been around a long time. And to be honest with you,
I would have never known this until you just told me. I would have never known.
I was thinking about a lot of things, and it wasn't about Catjam being bad. It was about...
I'm not trying to be too hard on... I mean, they're still a newer team, right? Like, maybe they just need to get their feet wet. And maybe Ghost Town is just not... It's just not their thing, but you know what? Hey, a spade is
Oh, yeah. And so we have the picks here. It's probably Sebastian in the 60TP again. Now, remember... Isn't this Catjam's pick now? Himmels.
Yes.
And so, did they pick Himmels because they saw Toma get beaten by Burbology? Or Jack is AFK, sorry. And if so, does that mean that Catjam thinks they are... Because I think the games were close. And what we've seen so far here is, I feel like Toma is going to be more stronger on this than Catjam.
We'll have to see in a few seconds.
We will have to see.
2 VZs, 2 277s, 50B, 113.
And I really feel like if you bring 50
Bs,
I really feel like if you bring 50B, like the 50B has to be. I feel like I could bring
in the VZ. It serves in the 60 TP because that's what you're asking before. It serves. So interesting. So hey, versatility, right? Like there's not I'm the 60 TP player. It's hey, a lot of us can play a lot of different tanks.
Well, maybe
Tomatitos going down the 2-1.
They are. Just straight off. So it's kind of one of those things where we're seeing that Tomatitos is actually an aggressive team.
Yes, and it's been working out really well from the first 2 rounds. So
they're keeping that momentum because that's the thing is like me and you were so used to.
They want to do the same thing. They're trying to set. They're going immediately aggressive into the courtyard, but they're going to have a little.
They're going to get lit. Sebastian got lit. Oh my goodness!
Honey Badger taking 2 hits,
Newton
getting 1, but then a miss from Sheep. IS-4 gun still proving even after all the buffs. Unreliable as the 2 VZs continue on the D line. At least unreliable for me. Hasu taking a hit.
Sheep has bad aim. Let's be honest here.
Hasu taking a hit as he runs. He's trying to get away from Drogon and Sheep as they come in. Drogon will get probably one more into him. We'll see.
Yeah, probably one more into him. It looks like Sheep is trying to. Oh,
and Honey Badger coming around. They're going for Surf. Surf has a lot of HP though. Both these VZs have to pen double shots here, and then. Maybe they can get it to a manageable amount of HP. No, Newton doesn't connect to shots, but I think both VZs pen theirs, but there's no pick. The guns are alive, and 1277 is going up north to A2. Meanwhile, the counter push at Demonic Desu and Hasu Desu, the Weeb brothers, I guess as you would call them, as they run away from 3 Tomatitos tanks. Fluky, though, I think just teeing off. Surf does eventually go down, but he lived a very long time. He's just going to
get really aggressive here. He's gonna back in.
Trying to do as much damage as he can, and he needs to.
I mean, he's literally he's in a 4-1. He needs to back off.
Focus on the VZs. But
yeah, he's trying to pick people, but
he needs to live as long as possible because the rest of his team is coming back.
It took a long time to get that 50B down, and Hasu is still alive, and Drogon might get picked here. He's trying to hide from the 277 down.
Here comes Sebastian and Sheep. They stay around the corner. Can
Fluky is getting killed. They're probably gonna pick Newton. They're probably going to... Oh, Newton gets safe. And Sebastian actually shooting 1, so he only has 1 in the chamber. So he doesn't have enough to kill Honey Badger.
Hector and Desu having a face-hug war over there. I don't know what the clip situation is. Never mind, I do. Hector gets the kill. And here's the thing. They've switched sides. The attacking team is in the defensive spot, and the defensive team is in the attacking spot. And Sheep is now going to be the next to go down. And he's got XVM Mad Aster just trying to block him in as both rounds the corner. It's just an IS-4's DPM, and they need to get safe from the VZ. Newton needs to be careful on his poke. He does a good job. And Sheep will go down here in just a moment as they get the double tap, and it will just be Hector left to try to clean this up. And this is Catjam on the verge of their first victory of the season.
It's really kind of interesting. I feel like maybe the chase down south was bad. A bad call. Because they were on defense. Like, they were playing too aggressive, you know? And especially in, like, an IS-4 chasing. Like, he came back up. But what did it end up being? Like, a 277 was just chasing another 277 across the entire map with Hector coming in a little bit later. It's kind of a little bit weird, right? Like, you kind of look for a pick, and if you can't get the pick, you kind of have to. I feel like you have to stick together in this kind of meta.
And it was
I would say
Catjam had the first. Catjam had the first
That's the word
fight,
I'm looking for.
Or the first, like, they got close first, and Tomatitos, like, chasing the weak side of Catjam was going to take a lot longer. So they're going south on that K line, and
correct.
And Tomatitos just were going to have trouble chasing down that 50B and that 277 as they just kept running and running and running. And Catjam was able to focus down the weak side of Tomatitos before Tomatitos could focus down the weak side of Catjam. And
Demonic did a good job in his 50B, not like damage-wise or anything like that, but just a lot of their guys were buying a lot of time, right?
Yes.
Who was it down there? Was Hasu? Right?
I believe it was Hasu. I mean, Hasu got out 3,300 damage, I believe, and he was one of the ones that was running on the K line at the beginning.
Right.
And that shows you what was happening because, Demonic Desu got out one clip. Yeah, he died. Could have taken, and it took a little while, but Hasu got out 3,300.
Yeah,
in that fight.
That's
Hasu, ridiculous for a 2v3 or whatever.
Especially, and especially because like Drogon was chasing him. Like, if I was getting chased by Drogon on 277, I'd be like, it's over for me. But, like, Hasu is showing, like, he's like, nah, you got 200 ping. I win these, you know? So, it's really unfortunate.
So, Catjam showing they're not to be pushed around. Maybe next match day, they'll just be banning Ghost Town. Because they came with a plan. They went with the split into the courtyard with the couple tanks in the south on the G line in south with the K. And they played it right, and it was a lot of it. It wasn't so much just a call or a strat; it was a series of just flex moves by individual players playing in little 2v3 situations where they're making their own individual decisions to try to maximize their spot in the role in the battle. And Catjam just coming out on top, not by as much HP as maybe they would have liked, but they still they were in a decisive position. They had 3 guns alive.
They were.
Ninjas got.
It was one of those things where I don't know Fluky got a lot of damage out, so it wasn't like he wasn't supporting the 60 TP, but the 60 TP was only able to get, what's that, like 2 shots of damage in a 60 TP? Looks like he bounced one as well. And so it's coming down to the point where, damage-wise, both teams got a good amount, and the spread was really good. Maybe instead of an IS-4, it should have been another 277, if you're going to play like that. You know?
Yeah, I'm wondering what the IS-4's purpose was exactly with their strat. Maybe it was just...
I don't know if it was like an added HP or anything like that, but like, he
has trouble keeping up.
He does have trouble keeping up. Even with like the field mods and the turbo and stuff. I mean, the 277 and IS-7 are just faster. But I could see like how he could be a really good defensive tank.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the HP and tank picking is starting.
But I feel like they had
starting with 2 VZs, 2 VZs from Catjam, 2 277s, 2 277s now from the Tito's with a Super Conquer, and 113 50B. Look at this. This is going more in the direction that I kind of was expecting after last.
Like you said, how interesting would it be if they don't win the maps that they pick? You know what I mean? Because Catjam picked Ghost Town, and they got 2-0'd on it. And
no. Catjam picked Himmelsdorf.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so what if they
get 2-0 on this? Then they each are winning their maps, and we have
right. They're winning their maps. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I got tongue tied. The glasses aren't helping.
Just went over the tank picks. We've seen the CS be used on attack. Pretty common to go up to the hill. It's a CS or a bad check. CS is slightly faster, I think, to get some of the spots, and then it's kind of a consistent fire gun, while bad check can give you some clip potential. Both can work. It's probably a comfort and what your strategy overall is going for. But overall, a lot of just solid heavy tanks. Yeah, 150B here and there. Like a lot of, obviously double VZ on each side. I'm going to be hard pressed to see when we're not going to see double VZ on a side on Himmelsdorf, either side, to be honest. Like it's just that's just what it's going to be. And 277s, 113s. Probably we'll see a lot, but the token Super Conqueror here, it's a little slow on attack, but can move around. And look at this, Catjam going for an aggressive decent defense. Newton and Hasu Desu going up to the G line with the VZ at the G3 dip, and they're going straight for Surf, but they have had a trap sprung on him because the VZs are going to come in and they're going to dump clip right into Newton. Surf trying to get his safe to as many guns as they can, and Newton goes down. Surf is down to a one shot. He just has to survive and try not to get shot through that window by the other VZ. Hasu now getting picked by Fluky. He will have to back up into the courtyard. If Fluky can get another track shot here,
he can maybe perma him. It looks like he did not get it. Wow, it hit like the top plate or something. RNG.
And the CS is on the hill. He's looking for shots, and he will get one into Demonic. Oh, he had the CS gun trolling action, and it does slightly miss. Just a little bit high and outside. And Honey
look
Badger
at him. He's like, what was
that?
He's like, what was that? But Sheep is actually calling. I'm pretty sure for Tomo. So it's actually really interesting that he's playing on the offside because usually you have the caller in the center of the action.
Pushing up. I'm not sure about that play. What the purpose is, unless they intend to push. But right now, I don't.
I don't know
they're
why.
Not down as much as maybe they think.
This is really weird.
For it. Like and maybe it'll work because the 50B and the VZ are really far out of the fight though. And here comes Fluky. He's got HP. They need to focus a gun down.
Fluky's probably. Oh, come on, Fluky. Get up there. Get you more aggro. You're in a soupy conk.
And now Sebastian's reloaded, and he's going to get all the shots in. And this is just an awful crossfire. You never
Sebastian just chose to get the kill out. They need to push because the 50B is going to get behind him, and he's going to clip out the boys. It looks like they're getting around Hector. Hector's getting killed. There you go. I can just hear Hector going, "Move, Fluky, move, go, go! I'm gonna get it.
The HP is even, but it's all on 2 tanks on Catjam, and that initial aggression on the
taking the last shots from the 50B. Yeah, and it's just
those VZs made the right play in staying dark on.
I guess these teams are trying to make like
for that purpose because if they stay
like
dark,
a new meta,
poke out, and the trap becomes a thing, and that trap has existed as old as time. That's why those initials exist the way they did, even back in 7-on-7. That's a lot of times I had tanks like 50Bs sometimes stop there, specifically so that the defensive team can't just do that. And they do it blind. They have no scouting intel, and they're just saying, we're going to try to pick him. And they got punished very heavily for it. And yeah, it's just the way that it goes sometimes. I respect the idea of it. It can keep
Demonic's fantasy points are going to be so much
on their toes.
Correct. I don't know. Is
3-1?
So when we saw Jack is AFK play Himmels, and we saw them on defense, what did they do? They cleared 2-line. They had an E3 at A4, and they had a really clean defense, right? A really traditional defense. What we've seen from both of these teams is a very aggressive defense, borderlining throwing. You know, like you can see what they're trying to do, but it's just not quite working. And
Catjam forced it a little bit. They forced the attempt on that.
I don't know if it was.
No one was covering him.
I almost feel like Sheep shot Demonic, and they were like, "CS is on hill. They're down 1 tank, but you're down 1 tank too because Newton got picked." You know what I mean? And then they pushed. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that was.
They thought that they had an isolation, and they just didn't. They thought that the rest of them will be going to the hill or to
because who was it? They tried to pick first serve. They tried to pick serve, and Newton got picked instead. And Sebastian just doing 4,200. Hector showing me Hector's showing me that like if he's like if I win I'll get damage, and I guess it's just that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like I've seen this play out in tier 8s and tier 10s in a lot of different tournaments over the years, and that initial usually plays out like that. The only time I would go like it's fine to play an aggressive defense. It's perfectly fine to do what they did there, but to continue forward with both guns there onto the G is a humongous risk. To try to pick Surf Tank because you were really gambling that they are not covering him. And, spoiler alert, they were. And if they're covering him, you just lose. So your aggressive defense just became a loss. It's like you can roll the dice differently. You can just say, maybe just send one of the 277s straight into that corner and just be like, all right, we're going to just hold this so that we can see them if they flex.
I almost feel like it would have won if the 50B was just in a better position. The 50B had to travel so far to get his first volley off, which was on the butt of the Sebastian and Hector in the VZs. That was his first time shooting.
And there's nowhere really for him to go.
Right. And I guess it was like they were nervous about South, but I feel like once that initial with the 113s went off, also like, why are they bringing 113? You know,
113s aren't bad. Honestly, I mean, you get that little bit more HP. You get that 440 alpha sweet spot as opposed to 490.
Yeah, I know that. I know it's probably for the heat, is what it's probably